John wanted to be an astronaut when he was young, like many of his peers, but it's fine to dream, although dreams don't always come true. There is a reasonable grain of reasoning in this. One only has to imagine that in space it will be possible to fly to any dream and willing at any time and in any quantity. It becomes incredibly sad. Man is not needed in space. He spends his further destruction on planet Earth. Well, for obvious reasons, John did not become an astronaut and learned to be an economist, which is not bad either. A competent economist freely handles cosmic sums and sends them to the stars, dissatisfied with them. But the dream did not go anywhere, and the guy was beckoned by the heavens at all times. He loved traveling to distant galaxies in his dreams. John was married to Sarah, a girl with rather simple demands. She was more down to earth than her husband. Plus, she was terribly afraid of heights. John even sometimes joked that if he had known about it before the wedding, he would not have married her. The girl resented, "No, I couldn't. If I could choose, I always voted for ground transportation." And when she lost to her husband and they flew on airliners, she would take sleeping pills to wake up on the ground. One Sunday afternoon, they decided to go for a walk in the park, eating ice cream and getting some air with John and Sarah. Her mother went too. The woman was malleable and didn't have to be coaxed. "Oh, it's been ages since I've been to our park. It's so wonderful. Thank you, my Goldens, for inviting me, because I'm already settled in my office, and things aren't getting any less busy. And the sun, like a snowball, is getting bigger." The woman was happy, and very good people from all over the neighborhood came to her, because they knew about her high professionalism. The woman was making a decent income, not denying herself or them anything. "Let's make this day. I'll take care of the ice cream at my own expense. And actually, I want to do something special for you today. Say any wish, and it will be granted." "Anything. Anything I don't wish for," she replied. "Okay, Mommy, can I think about it for a while?" "I'll think about it, and then I'll tell you my wish." Sarah got excited. She had already started thinking hard about what she could wish for Mommy. "That's generous, all right, but the wish must be voiced by tonight." Elizabeth Johnson, the shopkeeper, jokingly answered her. "And what is your wish?" She turned to John. "Or would you like to think about it too?" added her mother-in-law and smiled. "Yes, I think I have everything, though yes, I have one wish," said the lad. The mother-in-law looked at him in surprise and said, "Yes, unbelievable. I didn't expect such a trick from you, but a deal is a deal. Okay, I'll take it." It turned out that a fear of heights was a family trait of Sarah and her mother. John didn't know that. They drove to the park and parked. The ice cream was incredibly delicious. They had already eaten several pieces and couldn't get enough. They walked up to the rides. There weren't many people. The park had just opened after winter, and not everyone knew about it. There was a clown working. Children gathered around him and laughed at the freshly drawn man's jokes. But that didn't mean that even a lone man wouldn't be taken on a ride. John motioned to him, followed by Sarah and Elizabeth. "Did you know that the Ferris wheel started spinning in at least 1910 and is still one of the most popular rides in the parks?" he said as he walked on. The women looked at the swaying booths and felt uneasy. "Well, I didn't promise to grant anyone a wish, so you're going to this construction site without me, and I'll be here waiting for you," Sarah said cheerfully. "Yeah, I'm lucky I made such a statement about witches. And John is a tempter. I thought he was a pragmatist, but he's a romantic, pure and simple," Elizabeth Johnson thought to herself, and stepped boldly into the cabin. "Don't be afraid, I'm with you." She shook her elbow, and they sat down and buckled up. It was her first time riding a Ferris wheel, and she was out of breath, fear mixed with excitement. When they got to the highest point, she had the city in the palm of her hand, and it was so soothing for both of them, and the stall rocked violently. With fear, she clutched at her brother-in-law's arm and pressed herself against him. "Don't be afraid, Elizabeth Johnson. It's all right, relax," he soothed the woman. She wouldn't let go of him, and he put his arm around her shoulders. Her face was so close, her lips dry with fear, and she suddenly called out to them. John felt the urge to kiss her. This sudden desire caught him off guard, whether it was the closeness of a woman at such a height, or simply the admiration that she had overcome her fear. But the desire not only didn't let go, it grew stronger. John pulled her to him and kissed her. "Don't think I took advantage of your weakness," and treacherously interrupted the kiss. "There are plenty of men around, but they always need something from me, someone to protect, to keep safe, to whitewash, to liberate. I'm like Mother Teresa. I have to help everyone. Yeah, it's not free, but it's not the only thing that makes me happy. No matter how much you have in the bank, happiness is when you are really needed because you are simply loved and, of course, wanted. The stall lowered quietly, swaying slightly, but they weren't interested in that right now. Everything was happening like a dream. The whole world was moving in a single rhythm, but how could they not moan with pleasure? It had never felt so good. They were on. When the stall came down to the ground, the mother-in-law and son-in-law had already managed to clean themselves up and came out of it as usual. So did the witch come true? She asked the guy. Yes, more than fulfilled. But now I'm going to want it all the time, he replied. What's that? Sarah asked, hearing the end of Sarah's sentence, and John answered her.